Okay, it's go time.
It's go time.
Scout is verbal, very verbose. Start of the show here. We'll try to calm her down a little bit.
I might record her because I am producing right now a little opening for your Sunday game day. It's
Right.
not done for today's show, but I'm working on it.
Right.
And I've been trying to find different sound effects for it, just a quick clip.
Yeah.
And then she comes in and growls, and I'm like, maybe I should be using Scout for the little bit of the growl off the top.
It's a husky talk. She's really talking. Like, she's not coming in growling at us.
Right.
Like,
and I thought it'd be funnier. I first was thinking like football sounds, but I can't find those that I like. So I'm going to surprise you with what I come up with. But anyway.
I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to that. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. We have a full show again.
Yeah,
Shocker.
we got a big time show. So we're going to start with the Stephen Colbert bouncing at CBS, the Late Show. The reason we're going to do that is because a couple things. I think there's some really interesting discussion points on it. We happen to be in the middle of producing a TV show for a national network where we can talk a little bit about some of what's happening in the changing landscape of television. And so it's easy to be like, oh my God, it's political. No, it's not. And we will blow that argument out of the water with data and actual information. But it's a really interesting discussion back and forth. And we want to talk about it, and we will, about that. And we're also going to hear from Johnny Carson, which I think is a really interesting soundbite from him. And then we're going to get into this developing story on what Tulsi Gabbard has done. She's the head of the DNI, which basically takes all the intelligence information from sources within the country and, say, the CIA, which works outside the country, synthesizes them and tries to basically help people coordinate. This happened after 9/11, that DNI was formed, right? So that you don't have silos at the CIA not knowing what's going on with the FBI and vice versa, so that we can't put together who the real threats are against this country. And so it's an interesting job. It isn't as important as, say, head of the FBI or head of the CIA, but it is interesting, and she does have a wide look at things. Well, she started to release information that I think is going to be fascinating to see where it leads, and it has to do with the whole Russia situation. Did they try to interfere in our elections? And she's starting to release some of this information that says, no, they didn't, 2016. So maybe there were other things at work here. And there's just a lot of steps to this that we want to talk about and educate you on before this thing really develops. And it's just starting to do that as well. And then we're going to get into this Coldplay story.
Oh, well, why would we not? It's only all over the news. It's all over any place you look on social media. So why would we not talk about it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. So we'll get into that. We got a couple emails for you on what we're talking about with our last show. And then Steve Miller, the Steve Miller Band, who you and I actually, back in another life when we were just friends way back in Grand Junction, we were probably in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We went to go see him
at Country Jam. We were both reporters at Country Jam, and the Steve Miller Band came. Yep. Yeah, I do remember going to see that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about why he's canceled his tour, and for a reason that you will not believe. And then we have, of course, Sunday Game Day. We've got the game cameras, and we got a problem. We got a problem with the game cameras, and we've got we got a fight on our hands. We got an animal that has decided that it's go time.
Okay.
And so we're going to have a fight on our hands, and we'll get to that. And then we're also going to get into a little aviation news and, of course, our recommendation for one of the best documentaries we've seen in a while. And we're only halfway through it, but it's that good. We're bringing it to you.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Yes,
well,
so it's going to be good.
Let's start up with this Stephen Colbert big news coming out that he basically has been told you have to the end of your contract, which is next May of 2026. They're going to end his part of it and the show itself.
Right.
So it's leaving forever. The Late Show, which was made popular by David Letterman originally, the show itself is being canceled, basically. And it's kind of creating all this, is this a political move? Is it a rating situation? Is it a money situation? Is Trump involved? It's got all these elements that are already cooking up another conspiracy.
Very true. And I think the thing you need to know, if you don't watch Colbert, is he slowly over time, and really has always been this way, but turn this into an anti-Trump hating show. Like every night, he just unloads. And it is, if you start to watch him over time, he just slowly went away from humor and then went toward political commentary, one-sided political commentary, just unloading time after time after time, which, again, we've talked about on the show a million times. When he does it and Kimmel does it, and to a lesser degree, Fallon really doesn't do it. But,
I think he's kind of the most a non-political of the late night talk shows.
He tries to be, right? Right. Except for when he was nice to Trump once, he got just destroyed for it. But any other way you cut it, you've got these guys at ABC and CBS, and really NBC too, all cutting up the same piece of pie. They're all saying the same stuff, right? And they're all one-sided. But remember, back in the day, you didn't see that. You didn't see that with Jay Leno. You didn't see that with Johnny Carson. You didn't see that with Conan O'Brien, right? You saw them go back and forth, and they'd comment on the issues of the day, but not take sides and trying to really push the needle, right? So no one has been more aggressive in that than Stephen Colbert. Okay. Meanwhile, as you start to see everything change and the economics of linear television change, it really becomes less and less popular all the way around, right? So you cannot afford to take half your audience and throw them away. You just can't do it. Or you have to do it in a way where you just become more of a political outlet, and that's what it is. And so I want to start with Chris Murphy because he came out, Elizabeth Warren came out, a bunch of people have come out, and on X as well come out and said, basically, we've reached the point in the threats to the democracy where if you cancel a show, you're now threatening a democracy. Okay. So this is what Chris Murphy, senator from Connecticut, had to say when he heard his favorite late night host would not be able to continue to try to put his thumb on the scale.
I want to tell you why the cancellation of Stephen Colbert's show matters so much. We are on the precipice of entering a censorship state in which Donald Trump is using the powers of the federal government in order to erase criticism from the airwaves. What's happening at CBS right now is bone-chilling. CBS's parent company, Paramount, is trying to get a merger approved, and they need that merger to be approved by the Trump administration. And so in a variety of different ways, Paramount is providing monetary and political favors to Donald Trump. First, they settled a totally bogus lawsuit that they would have won in a walk in court that was filed against them by Trump. They essentially just paid him $16 million personally. Then Paramount went to 60 Minutes, their flagship news program, and told them to stop criticizing Donald Trump so much. Why? Because they need this merger approved. And then finally, they have now canceled Stephen Colbert's show, knowing that Stephen Colbert was a nightly thorn in the side of Donald Trump. This is all clearly designed to get their merger approved so that their millionaire and billionaire owners and investors who are already filthy rich can become even more filthy rich. This is what happens when these massive corporations control the flow of information at the same time that you have an administration that is shameless about using the official powers given to them by the Constitution and by statute in order to compel political loyalty from the owners of
this is just media. Garbage in so many different ways.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
he's
so
painful.
He is painful to listen to. He is, but he's definitely a line of thought that has come out right after this whole thing happened. And so Elizabeth Warren did some of the same stuff. There are a bunch of other people. So this is all political. The ignorance in those statements is baffling to me. So I want to start with and again, this is going to be a deep dive on this subject. I want to start with what the Wall Street Journal said in the article. I want to start with just pure numbers. And as someone who has lived in the television world for 25 years, let me tell you something. When you stop making money for the company, you're done. You're done. You don't sit around and give you a cushy job to ride this thing out, extra millions of dollars. You're finished. Okay. They stick the knife in your back the second you stop being valuable to them. And
it's happened for decades. I mean, this is not anything new.
They don't put on shows that lose money. So here's the argument I would make against Chris Murphy and what you're about to read. And that is Chris Murphy is exactly 180 degrees wrong. Stephen Colbert stayed on the air because he was a thorn in Trump's side. Because he hammered Trump, he stayed around as long as he did. Now, let's go to the Wall Street Journal, and you can read the first numbers on this and some of the reasoning behind what happened.
It says Colbert cancellation exposes the perilous state of late night TV. CBS's decision to end its long-running late show franchise touched off of a firestorm, and it's a grim sign for a challenged television format. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was profitable as recently as a few years ago. Now it loses about $40 million a year.
Hold on, right there. It loses $40 million a year. And this guy Murphy's like, oh, it was all political. Yeah, it was all political, brother.
Trump was like, he put the fingers on it and said, I want Stephen Colbert
out
of here.
I want him out of here. Get him out. Get Colbert out. I want him out now. I mean, it's like, no, this is ludicrous.
Trump doesn't even care about Stephen Colbert.
No, as a matter of fact, Stephen Colbert talks to an audience that will always hate Trump. Again,
Yeah.
Chris Murphy acts like Stephen Colbert is a thought leader in the country. Nobody cares, okay, really. And if you look at his numbers and what happened to the numbers, and we're going to get into the numbers on this. And again, this isn't necessarily about Stephen Colbert. The numbers for linear TV and for the late night shows are going down.
Right.
They are. So we'll talk about it. So I'm sorry, keep on going. They lose $40 million a year.
Right. On Thursday, CBS pulled the plug on the show, and an entire franchise launched in 1993, making it the biggest casualty yet among late night talk shows, contending with cord-cutting changes, tastes among young viewers, and declining ad revenue.
There you go.
The budget for the show, filmed in New York City's Ed Sullivan Theater, includes a live band, a staff the host said numbered 200 people.
200 people work on the show.
Right. And an annual salary of $20 million for Colbert, according to a person familiar with the show's operations.
Okay.
So this is obviously going to be tough going forward, right? So it says by distributing their host monologues and comedy bits across YouTube and social media, the late night shows kept a foothold in pop culture and notched their share of viral hits. But digital advertising revenue hasn't made up for the fall in ad dollars going to traditional broadcast programming. Spending on linear advertising for the late night segment on ABC, CBS, and NBC fell from $439 million in 2018 to $221 million in 2024. So almost half.
Okay, so hold on. So that's
almost a 50%
this is
cut
so
in ad
critical,
rev.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go back to 2018, they're pulling in $439 million, that block of time each evening, right?
Right.
And that number's cut in half. And these guys at CBS have the gall to put on a show that costs $100 million a year to run. It's ludicrous, okay? You can't do it. Things have changed. You have to produce shows more cheaply. Okay, you just can't do this. So for Chris Murphy and everyone else to say, oh, now this is all political, it's idiotic. And again, all it does is rile up their base, doesn't allow them to realize, wait a minute here, this is something we have to adjust to. And we're in the middle of this exact same thing, okay? So yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, before you start talking about our show, I would argue this point, though, about some of the late night stuff, okay? So I just looked back on what because I've never liked Stephen Colbert personally. He drives me crazy. But that being said, I looked back to see what kind of guesses he had in the last month, right? Largely political, okay? And from one side. So you've Governor Shapiro, Governor Josh Stein, Nicole Wallace, Maxwell Frost. You have Zoran Mamdani was on there, the guy that's running for mayor out of New York. Senator Adam Schiff. I mean, sorry, but even if I like these people, I'm not sure I want to watch that late at night. I feel like late night television is supposed to be kind of this escape from real life, right? So I just feel like when you're that heavy on the political side of something, to me, I think you can get that on CNN or some of the other MSNBC, for instance. I think late night television is supposed to be more entertaining. And I think that sometimes Kimmel, especially, and Colbert have really dipped away from that. And I think it used to be kind of fun talk shows, fun bands. I'm not saying he doesn't sprinkle those in still, but I would argue that people are not as interested in heavy political commentary on those shows.
Totally true.
Now, I know Gutfeld, as you're going to talk about, is a commentary
show.
Well,
no, it is, but your point's still well taken. I understand your point. So both of our points are going to be true, right? So I think you're absolutely right that he has gone out and gone far left, and so is Kimmel, and they're trying to and I guess you'd say NBC too, although Fallon's not as much, but still, all three of them are going for the same audience. They're just trying to divide up the same audience. And they do it all the time. These legacy media companies, they all fight each other for the same small audience. And so I think that's a problem. Like CNN is fighting MSNBC, is fighting CBS, is fighting NBC, is fighting ABC for the same viewer. Right? And so therefore, they're just shattering all these viewers. Meanwhile, who's on the conservative side? You have the conservative independent media, and then you have Fox News. And then you have a little bit of Newsmax and some of those other periphery brands. But the point being in this whole thing is when you're fighting over a smaller and smaller piece of the pie, you're not going to be successful. And your point, obviously, then is if you, on top of that, give them crap content with a shrinking audience, you've got a problem. So if you have a shrinking audience, what you have to do is expand who might want to watch your show. And your point is they're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think it's working. I don't think that the way that they've been positioning these shows clearly are not working, because I just think people can get that information someplace else.
Right.
If they really want to hear from Adam Schiff. I mean, no offense, but like, I don't know
It's
who.
idiotic.
I don't
Adam
even know
Schiff.
who wants to listen to him on either
cares?
side.
I mean,
Who cares?
I agree. It's like,
especially at night, like
No.
you're looking for some entertainment before you go to bed, right? Or maybe he puts you to sleep. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
No,
but-
I mean, and it's like, hey, tonight coming up on the conservative show, we got John Barrasso from Wyoming. Everybody be like, what?
Yeah,
I mean,
nobody-
John Barrasso's a nice guy, but I mean, come on, nobody's tuning
not
in to
in
watch
that
it.
medium.
Right.
I feel like the bookers should be looking
Right.
at what is happening. But I just think in general, some of those talk shows or some of those kind of types of shows, they're decreasing in interest because people can stream more of what they want to.
Well, of course,
you're
that's what
going
we're
against
talking
that whole
about.
thing.
Yeah, we're
So-
talking about the shattering audience. You're absolutely right.
Right.
And they also live in a world where they live with people who just think like they do. And they let's get Schiff back on. It's important that we hear from Adam. Oh, yes, it's very important. Very important that we know what Nicole Wallace thinks. She can't get an audience on MSNBC. She sure shiz nickel is not going to get you one. She is not going to get you one on CBS. Okay, so here's the thing. Put together a couple of little numbers here. And again, so we're ping-ponging back and forth. I totally agree with your political point. But also just forget the politics of everything. The numbers don't work. Look right here at the production cost for each show, the 4 late night shows, okay? And this is amazing. So the late show is right around $100 million, okay? That's what they cost. I believe, and these numbers are a little dicey because it's not like they give you the exact number. So these are estimates, all right? Kimmel's supposed to be right around 88, 89 million, something in there, 76 million or so for the Tonight Show, under 50 million for Gutfeld on Fox, okay? Okay, so that's number one. Fox has it right in the respect that, okay, if you're going to go political, and Fox's show is political, and they try to combine humor with it. You don't love it, right?
I don't dislike it. You have to be in the mood for it. And
Right.
it's not like, I have good friends that they live for that show, and I can understand. And I think he's got some interesting guests from time to time. I used to watch The Five years ago, and I
think it's a really good show.
And I liked The Five a lot.
It's an excellent show.
I just think that you have to be in the mood for that. And,
Okay.
and that's it.
But I agree. But again, I'm not trying to get you in trouble with our audience.
No,
but I'm just
no,
saying
but you know what you're
you
getting-
don't love that show, but it's not for you. I'm just saying it's not.
No, but I will say the people that are tuning into Gutfeld, they know that that's what they're getting, right?
Right.
I think when I'm turning into, like, if I was to watch, I never would watch Kimmel. I'd rather just poke sticks in my eyes. But if I was to watch Kimmel, I would not be expecting, hey, this is going to be a political commentary show. Like, that's not.
Well, that's what it's become. You know that now.
Right. But, like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I just think the normal viewer is looking for some humor.
Okay.
And like me at night, and I don't necessarily need to hear about politics.
Yeah, no.
right before I go to
I
bed.
understand, but
I love politics.
And my point on it though is that just because you're conservative doesn't mean you love Gutfeld. It's just that's the realm they've gone in,
Right?
Which makes a lot of sense. So let's go to the salary of the host because that makes up a big part of how much it costs to put the show on. Okay, so we actually gave the Late Show and Colbert a little bit of a break here. The Wall Street Journal said 20 million. We gave him 15 million on this graph. Okay. And then you've got Jimmy Kimmel, similar. Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, he gets about 16, 17 million. Greg Gutfeld gets 7 million. Okay, again, another just understanding where the market is and how much money is left there. Then the most important thing, right? What are the ratings? Who's winning? Guess what? Fox is winning. And it's not close.
Yeah.
Fox on average viewership every night is 3.3 million people. And so you're talking about costs that are much higher on these other 3 networks, and they don't touch them for audience. Now, again, that gets back into how you distribute your audience, because if you're going to take a liberal audience and you're going to add up the Kimmel and the Late Show, that is more than they're getting on Fox. But they're just dummies for turning into this, right? And so as you look at this whole thing and you add it all together, you say you've gone political. Your costs are way too high for what you produce. Your audience is way too small to justify it, and you can't do it. And so then when you have political, we'll say, thought leaders jump in and say, oh, this is all about Trump, 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 Trump. Again, just keep on going, brother. Just keep on blaming Trump when this has nothing to do with Trump. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable.
Well, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but you were explaining a little bit because we are producing and helping with or filming this current show right now for our national network, and it's just
yes, we're helping with it.
We're helping, or we're doing it, however you want to frame it, right? And so it is an interesting dynamic because that whole type of show like an HGTV type show is changing. I mean, because these shows used to be produced for millions of dollars, and the fact of the matter is, a lot of those shows, if you've noticed at home, they're disappearing.
Yep.
They're not as available anymore, and people might be like, well, maybe they just run their course. Maybe, or maybe it's the fact that they're so expensive to produce and they don't get that rate of return back that they can't keep producing the shows in the same capacity.
Right. So when in their heyday, Chip and Joanna Gaines would get 2 million viewers on an HG show, and you're half that now. And that's continuing to come down here. So what we're having to find out is, and you're right, I'll come back to it because I was jumping into it and then stopped. So what we're finding out is we're trying to redo this whole economic calculus to say, can we produce a show for a third the price that you used to? Can we do that? I don't know yet. We're trying. We're trying right now. We're going to produce something. I don't know how it's going to go at this point, but we're looking at those numbers, and we're having to do things like, you start looking at, okay, when do you bring up big crews to shoot things? How often do you do it? Do you shoot some of it yourself? YouTube is a huge factor in all of this, because what's happened is the quality of the programming and the quality of the shooting has gone down, because people understand you can go to YouTube, grab your phone, go like this. One of the most popular guys on YouTube just uses a GoPro. That's it. He didn't have a mic on. He didn't have anything. He just uses a GoPro. It's called Outdoor Boys. Incredible, by the way.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
I knew you were gonna have to put a plug in for Outdoor Boys.
It's tremendous.
Your dad loves the Outdoor Boys.
I do. He's great. He is great. But that has nothing to do with this thing. But that's who you're competing against, right? And so most people decide, I want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it. So when we talk about linear TV, what that means is it's a network that runs at 8 o'clock. This runs at 9 o'clock. That runs at 10 o'clock. This runs. That's linear TV, right? That's your common thing we all grew up with. Well, fewer and fewer people are saying to themselves, I got to be there right at 9 o'clock to watch this show or that show. No, they want to watch when they want to watch. So the show we're doing is for a linear network, right? And for a network that is on demand as well.
Right, streaming
network, right?
I think you can't do it unless you have a streaming option.
Correct. And I also think the network we're going to be on is going to go to YouTube as well. So they're going to have all of those things. So that's, but my point in all of this is every one of us who's involved in television putting programming on has to adjust. And your whole thought that, we can spend $100 million a year on a show that gets 2.5 million people to watch it is nuts. Do you know how much it is per viewer? It comes out to like 40 cents a viewer. It's way too high, right? Mm-hmm. It just doesn't work. None of it works. And so therefore, we're going to have to see how it all shakes out here. But times have definitely changed, especially then when you look back at people who used to do this before, people like Colbert.
Right. Like, let's just take a little, I love this little clip of Johnny Carson. I think he just had it the right, he was one of the pioneers in this market, right? So he could really, he
and Jack Parr.
I mean, there was people before him, but I just feel like, at least in our lifetime, Johnny Carson was the late night talk show host, right?
He's even really almost before our lifetime, really. I mean,
he started, but when I was a kid, I watched I watched Johnny Carson.
No.
Anyway, I just love this little clip about really what he kept in mind when he was doing his show.
And just so you know where this comes from, it's an old 60 Minutes interview with Mike Wallace.
People say, he'll never take a serious controversy. Well, I have an answer to that. I said, now, tell me the last time that Jack Benny, Red Skelton, any comedian, used his show to do serious issues. That's not what I'm there for. Can't they see that? But why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show that you must deal in serious issues? It's a danger. It's a real danger. Once you start that, you start to get that self-important feeling that what you say has great import. And strangely enough, you could use that show as a forum. You could sway people, and I don't think you should as an entertainer.
Yeah. See,
and we used to have entertainers. Even when those guys started, they used to be entertainers. Kimmel used to be an entertainer on something called The Man Show.
Right.
Do you know how The Man Show, do you know what the intro of The Man Show was? Girls jumping on trampolines. Do you know what girls look like jumping on trampolines? Like,
yes.
Okay.
I can imagine.
That's Jimmy Kimmel. But now he's the self-important scold that has become a guy who's shedding viewers like nobody's business. So these guys have all become so self-important. Is exactly what Carson said.
Yeah. And I think the only one, like, I still kind of argue a little bit on that is Fallon. Because I do think that Fallon is a little bit of a nutball kind of thing. And he tries these, like, these games that he plays with people and stuff like that. I just think people have run tired of it a little bit. And
Right.
that's the problem too, is people's attention spans have changed over time. And you'd have to keep their attention with, updated ideas and content. And I think he kind of has a system in place. He does the same thing over and over. He does a lip sync or a sing along or a game. I just think like some of his ideas are now kind of a little old,
Right.
and they need to be reinvented, or he needs to retire and say, now what's the next season of my life?
Right. And I would agree. I think creativity, you've either got to continue to bring new people in to keep you on that cutting edge of creativity, knowing what you're competing against, which we've talked about, YouTube and TikTok and X and everything else. So you've got to keep that stuff moving and keep fresh ideas going. Or you're right. Everybody runs their season. I don't think there's any embarrassment in saying I've done this for 10 years. I'm running out of the same
Juice.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And you're right. I guarantee you Fallon will have another season. I think he will. The other two, I don't know. But, I mean, maybe I could absolutely see, Colbert on MSNBC. But he's just made so much money that I don't know that he's going to want to do that.
Right.
But
yeah, there's definitely a space and time for him. Okay.
Yeah.
So big news story that's coming out here is that Tulsi Gabbard is basically going to start releasing documents that really kind of blow open that this whole Russiagate kind of situation was it cooked? Was it something that was just created out of it wasn't actually really happening, but people in power wanted it to be look like it was?
Yeah, we have to explain a little bit. This goes back to 2016, right? This goes back to the election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, where we were all told by everybody in the government that in 2016, the Russians tried to weigh in and successfully weighed in to help tip the election to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was in with the Russians. They wanted him to win, the whole deal. Well, obviously they had a massive investigation. The Mueller report came out. They kept pushing the whole Trump-Russia thing. And it turned out that Mueller basically found nothing. There was nothing came of it. They looked and could not find a way, and they tried to pin everything they could on him. Okay? Well, now that Tulsi Gabbard is head of the DNI, which you've talked about, so she has access to all this information. And so I want you to just read a little bit. She put out a memo, the first sort of shot to be fired in this, to say, wait a minute, by the way, the CIA, the FBI, at the time in 2016, after the election, went to Obama and said, it didn't happen. This did not happen. We don't have any proof of this. So let's start with the first thing she issued with this news release.
Right. So it says the headline says new evidence of Obama administration conspiracy to subvert President Trump's 2016 victory in presidency. On Friday, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard revealed overwhelming evidence that demonstrates how after President Trump won the 2016 election against Hillary Clinton, President Obama and his national security cabinet members manufactured and politicized intelligence to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a year-long coup against President Trump. In the months leading up to November 2016, the intelligence community consistently assessed that Russia is, quote, probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means, end quote. On December 7th, 2016, after the election, keeping in mind, by the way, just for timing purposes, Trump's not in office at this point, right? This is still
Not
Obama.
until January 21st.
Right.
Yep.
Obama is still the acting president. Says after the election, talking points were prepared for DNI James Clapper, stating, quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. Then on December 9th.
Okay, so December 7th, let's just make sure you get this. Sorry, because there's a lot for you to read at once.
Right.
So December 7th, basically Clapper, who held Tulsi Gabbard's job before Tulsi Gabbard back in 2016, says, okay, we got this information. They did not try to alter the,
election results
or try to weigh in on them. Okay, so we go to 2 days later.
2 days later, then it says President Obama's White House gathered top National Security Council principals for a meeting that included James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, John Kerry, Loretta Lynch, Andrew McCabe, and others to discuss Russia.
Okay, just so you know who those people are. So you had the head of the CIA there. You had John Brennan there. Rice, who was close to Obama. John Kerry. You had the top echelon of the Obama administration. This doesn't get any higher than this. It's like Trump calling in J.D. Vance. It's like Trump calling in, Marco Rubio. It's like Trump calling in Kash Patel, Bondy, all of them. Well, not Bondy necessarily in this case, but still, you get the point.
You get the point. After this meeting, DNI Clapper's executive assistant sent an email to IC leaders tasking them with creating a new IC assessment, quote, per the president's request.
Okay, so them not acting on this is now they're asking them to change that outlook.
Right. It says that details the, quote, tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. It went on to say, quote, ODNI will lead this effort with participation from CIA, FBI, NSA, and DHS, end quote.
Okay. So what this basically, now we don't know where this is going. So we want to say this. We're not going to get into the veracity of how true this is yet because it's got to play out. I don't know.
Right. And Tulsi is saying that she's going to be releasing more information this week.
So we'll hear from her in a second.
Right.
So she says she's got a lot more receipts. But make no mistake, she is in a position to be able to say, okay, here's how it all went down. Now, what she also released with this, not just that, she didn't just release a news release that said this. She released all sorts of documents that show it as well. And she tweeted this. This is where she gets back into the 7th and the 9th and how they change things. She says, the next day, the top national security officials, including FBI Director Comey and CIA Director Brennan and DNI James Clapper, gathered at the Obama White House to discuss Russia. Obama directed the IC to create a new intelligence assessment, a new one. Pull one out of thin air? I don't know. Obama's going to say, no, it's just some other information and whatever. We'll see. Okay, we'll find out. But this is the way it looks. And so then,
to create a new intelligence assessment that detailed Russian election meddling, even though it would contradict multiple intelligence assessments released over the previous several months.
Okay, that's the finish.
It's important to finish
absolutely
that.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And then she releases some of the documents. So here are some of the documents. Ava, we can go in on the December 9th email from the ODNI leader. Okay, and you can see, sorry, to the other side, kiddo. There it is. Yeah, so the IC is prepared to produce an assessment per the president's request. So again, these are actual emails that come from this, okay? So this is the kind of stuff you start going, whoa. So I want to hear, again, we're going to continue to break this down, but let's hear from what Tulsi Gabbard had to say. She was on Fox today, okay, this morning with Maria Bartiromo, which Bartiromo's, by the way, suit that she has on, classic. I mean, I'm just loving this, by the way. Just look at Bartiromo's suit.
Teal suit.
As you're watching this, Bartiromo's suit is just, I mean, unbelievable. All right. So anyway, listen to why Tulsi Gabbard says this is so dangerous.
Question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump's presidency and subverting the will of the American people. So yes, next week we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again.
Okay, that is some serious talk. So remember a couple things here. She's saying they fabricated. They completely, okay, know this about Tulsi Gabbard. She's already seen what she's talking about. She's seen what we haven't seen yet, right? So if you're thinking, oh, she doesn't really have the goods or whatever, I don't know. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see on this. But remember what this led to. This was designed to basically create a massive snare for Trump the second he got in office. Push it, get all the intelligence agencies combined with the media and attack. And it worked.
It's all we talked about for a year.
It's
the first year
more than that
of his presidency.
This stretched way beyond a year, right? And this went on and on and on until they couldn't find anything else. And so the reason it's so dangerous is because if you make up details of something that never occurred just to create problems for the other political party, we are dealing in a world now which is devastating. And remember, this all happens And then you get in, Trump loses in 2020. And then what do they do legally? They go after him every way that they can. Try to get him in Georgia, convict him of 34 felonies or whatever in New York.
Yeah.
Ridiculous stuff. Well, guess what? Now look where we are. You've got your political opponents, people who went and did this, Democrats on the other side of the aisle who went after Trump this way. And guess what they've got? They've got access to everything. At least it's still there. It hadn't been destroyed. They've got access to it. And so this has now created a political environment that includes going after legally your political opponents. Some would argue they deserve it, and they may well. We don't know yet on this.
Right.
We need to learn more. Okay, but my only point is, because of Trump, how Trump has been dealt with, because he's been treated as if he is the most devastating, dangerous, out of control politician that these people have ever seen, they've overstepped in a massive way. And now we are creating a political and legal environment, which is pretty perilous, and it's really scary. And I think you look at this, and I'm concerned for where this country goes. I have to get to the bottom of it, but have you seen this story on the mainstream news at all?
No.
CBS covered it, NBC covered it,
No.
ABC covered it, Wall Street Journal, Post, none of them.
No, nobody's touching this except for Newsmax. I saw it on Newsmax and on Fox News, and then some on X.
Okay.
Right?
But here's the other thing. This isn't about coverage on the news. This is about charges. Okay, so listen to what she said there at the end. She said this is about charges. This is about holding people accountable legally. Okay, Tulsi's laying all this stuff out. And then Tulsi did the ultimate lay this thing out, right? She said, now it's on Pam Bondy. Just listen to what she says here, and then we'll get to what a big deal this is.
So at the end of the day, we need to look at Pam Bondy. Is that the person who at the end of the day is going to bring us accountability? Pam Bondy?
Attorney General Pam Bondy, FBI Director Kash Patel, it is their responsibility to gather all of the evidence, both that we have released, the facts that have already been known previously, the information that will continue to come out, and move forward with this prosecution and these indictments.
Okay.
I mean,
but this gets back to our point. You're going to talk about Epstein in a minute. Okay. This gets back to that point. You're going and laying out this stuff saying, we got the goods here, that they did stuff that was designed to hurt this country in a terrible way, if it's all true, which again, we'll wait and see. Right. But if you're going to go set that expectation amongst your base, you better deliver.
Yeah,
there are people that are going to need to be charged here. Is that how this is going to go down?
Yeah, do we charge Obama?
Bondy's like, right? Do you what's going on? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they have. I don't know what's on the other side. I have no idea yet.
Right, because she hasn't released it yet.
But the reason we bring this up isn't necessarily because of the particular details yet, but because of where we are as a country and in the things that have happened because of Trump derangement syndrome. What people have done to say, we will stop, we will do whatever we'll break the law, we'll do whatever okay. Yeah. Or we're going to try to get him in jail. We're going to do everything we can to get him in jail. Okay. These actions have consequences, and we are seeing them right now. And especially when Tulsi Gabbard talks this way, if you're Pam Bondy and you don't charge anybody, what does that look like?
Well, it looks like the Epstein case. I mean, I'm saying, it's like, I just feel like, listening to Tulsi Gabbard talking about we need transparency, we need to make sure that these people are held accountable, that there's charges brought, all these things. Yeah, that's why people are still talking about the Epstein file. I know that you and I disagree on this a little bit. You think it's taking up too much oxygen, there's bigger fish to fry, things of that nature. I understand what you're going with all that. I'm not sitting here saying I need to personally see the list of everything of all.
There isn't a list.
Right. Okay. Whatever. Okay. I'm just saying the reason that this is a big deal is because it was something that Trump did run on.
Right.
Okay. It's the same argument that Tulsi Gabbard is now making regarding this particular Russiagate situation. Right. That we need transparency. We need charges brought. We need answers.
Right.
That's still what a lot of the people feel about with the Epstein case. Now, and I also disagree where Trump is saying it's only the Democrats that are pushing this Epstein file thing. I disagree with him on that. I think no. You ran on I'm going to clean the swamp. I'm going to get the deep state out. I'm going to flush things through, and I'm going to be honest and transparent with things. And I think that goes down with Epstein. It happens with this. It happens with whatever. There's a lot of issues, right, that we still want. I have no idea who tried to shoot Trump a year ago, right? Like, I don't know what that story is. These are things that I feel like are valuable for us to know. Now, given I understand there are like security clearances, there's, national security issues. I'm not saying we have to dig into all that. But if you could at least come out and say, give us some more information about Epstein and say he was actually a government agent or whatever you want to say. Well, whatever it was, right? I mean, but that's how conspiracy starts, Mark.
No, I know.
Is you promise, hey, we're going to, you have Bondy out there who says, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to be transparent with this and we're going to go after them. You have Dan Bongino and Kash Patel talking on their own shows, by the way, for years leading up to this.
Okay, but here's the argument.
And then now?
But I want to separate those two out too, because you're exactly right. Because when Kash Patel and when Bongino were talking about this, they were talking like we talk. Like we have some information on stuff, but we don't have anywhere near.
We have not seen the UFO files.
We have not,
by the way.
But my point is, they're popping off in stuff they think may or may not be true. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard has the goods. Like, it's her job. She has them.
Okay, but so did Pam Bondy. So did Pam Bondy. I would argue this.
That's a fair point.
She gets on there and she says, I've got the goods on my desk and I'm going to be telling everybody about everything.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And then it looks bad when it's not,
okay,
when we
but
don't
I
know
will
more
say
information.
this. I think Tulsi Gabbard, first of all, she was hired for that job for this reason. For what you're seeing right now.
You think so?
I do. I think Trump went to her and said, look, we got to know what happened here. And I think Tulsi is looking into it. I think Tulsi Gabbard, I have my issues with her, no question. I have my issues on some of the things she's done. However, I will say I think she's competent. I don't think she's looking to jump in front of a camera the way Bondy does. I think there's a different level operator there. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's going to be very interesting. And I think the whole thing's fascinating in the respect that she just stuck it on Bondy. I mean, she did. Right. And she's got more stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how this is all going to go. But I just worry that I think this is a much bigger deal because I think the Epstein thing, I think at the end of the day, I get that people talk a lot about it. I don't think it hurts Trump. I don't think it matters. I don't. This matters for the future of the country because it's how we deal with each other.
I will agree with you on that point, that one of them really deals with how we manage our country, right? And all that. But what I would look at the Epstein case a little bit differently because, you have all these murmurs of like human trafficking and sex traffic workers and, these like bigwigs in the government that are all part of this. We don't even know if that's true, right? We don't have a clue if it's true or not because there's been so much conspiracy thrown at this thing that I think to some degree they do need to release some actual information to shut this story down and really shut it down. Not be like, we're not going to talk about it anymore. I don't know why you care. Like that's the wrong answer in my opinion that Trump gave. I don't think that answered the question. And I think that he ran on this. So I think you should give us some more information on that. I don't think it should dominate the news cycle all the time. I'm not interested in talking about Epstein for the next 6 months of my life. I could care less.
I'm done with this conversation now.
I know you are. But I just think I'm speaking for the people who are not.
I know. I get it.
And then you roll in this next story, right? Of, Tulsi Gabbard's like saying, okay, here you go, Pam Bondy. We want transparency. We think there should be charges. We want accountability. Let's see what you got. I think, holy cow, if Bondy doesn't show up with this one, the woman's out of a job. I mean, I think.
Oh, there's no question. I think that you have the backing of the White House in a massive way on this. This is Trump's number one issue. Like he has believed from the very beginning, he's like, this is all garbage. It's all garbage. And so far, he's been a lot more right than wrong.
Agreed.
There's been a lot more in the way of smoke on the side of making stuff up than there has been on, here's the goods on Trump and Putin, which doesn't exist.
Right.
So
I agree. I just think it goes to credibility. Like, I don't think that Epstein and Trump had some sort of like, I don't buy all that. I don't buy this stupid garbage letter that he supposedly wrote for Epstein's party. None of that stuff.
But that's just dumb, and I don't care about it.
I just don't even think that there's enough merit to it. I think it just sounds like salacious gossip, quite frankly. But I do care about the fact of, listen, if we're going to hold people accountable and we're going to give, we're going to reveal the truth on things and we say that, then I would like to see us stand by that as I believe that it adds to his credibility.
I think I think you make a ton of sense. I didn't vote for Trump or I have never voted for anybody on the basis of Epstein. I think it's
I agree. I don't.
But I do care. I mean, I care about those sorts of things, but to me, this doesn't deserve the level of interest that it gets from a lot of Republicans, but we'll see. But it is not hurting Trump's numbers. We'll move on from this, though. It is what it is. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. We'll see.
Well, let's get to the story of the week. Coldplay, right? It's Coldplay. I think this is the most exciting thing Coldplay's done in quite a while.
Oh,
quite
take
frankly.
it easy. Take it
I
easy.
like Coldplay. I'm just saying I'm not like jamming to all their songs, but now they're coming back into rotation, I have to say. So, okay, the Jumbotron, we all know this story. Tech CEO's affair with an HR chief, which, I mean, honest to goodness, of all the people you could cheat with, the HR lady? Like that, it makes it triple. It's a triple factor right there.
Yeah.
And it's exposed on a Coldplay concert Jumbotron.
Yeah. So we'll just show you this how it goes down. And then we'll talk a little bit about it.
In case for the 2% of you that have not actually seen this video yet.
We'll go real quick. We'll just show you what it is.
Really fast.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Okay, that is literally Chris Martin
talking
from Coldplay saying they're either having an affair or they're very shy. They're having an affair. Okay, so
and I actually, what's interesting, I talked to my friend Shauna who went and saw Coldplay when they were playing in Denver.
Right.
And she had an interesting point on this. She said she remembers the Jumbotron going around and like the kissing cam and they were catching people. She said they were doing the floor with that. She said it's very clear these people were in a suite. She said it's like 0% chance that this Jumbotron, that this camera would have hit a couple up in a suite. She said it's highly unlikely.
Well, it's always a zero, but I mean, you got 70,000 people there.
80,000 people are in the stadium, right?
What are the odds?
Oh, I think 0.0 until it actually happens. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like their faces. I mean, I just think.
So, yeah, no, it's crazy. So, Ava, you had an interesting take on this as we're watching it. So we see all this, we see it all blow up. And then I thought your reaction and your take on it was pretty wise.
Yeah, I said, obviously, if they'd acted just completely normal, it would have been fine. There would be no issue.
Nobody would have known.
Their spouses aren't at home watching Coldplay Jumbotron footage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this was in I believe this was near their hometown in Boston, something like that. Somebody could have seen them.
Okay, so it could have, but not to this degree.
But this wouldn't have for
It wouldn't
sure
have.
happened.
If they just sit there like this and they're just like, hey, we love Coldplay. Let's do Yellow. And then they go, right? And then they go off of them. Who records that and shows it? And even if someone shows it online, that person who shows it online, it doesn't go viral.
No,
right.
No.
And so therefore the family never sees it. She's exactly right.
Yeah, I guess what I heard was that it was just somebody in the audience just happens to be recording along with the kiss cam. And she's the one that posted this. Somebody recognized the couple and that's how this thing went crazy. So, and just the fact that Chris Martin called it out. So now Chris Martin, if you're Chris Martin though, what are you thinking? Are you thinking maybe we should kill the jumbo kissing cam? Or do you think no this guy's a dirtbag, so it doesn't matter?
This is what's making Coldplay
Talked
relevant
about
again.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty relevant.
They're
filling.
It's not like there's some rookie band out there.
No, they're filling up 80,000 people at Foxborough. They're doing fine.
They're doing fine.
Yeah.
I guess my question was, why were we so fascinated with this week? Like, what drove the fascination of this? Is it because he was a CEO? Is it because in corporate America, sometimes the HR, that's what one of my friends said. They said, oh, please, I've worked in corporate America forever. The HR department thinks they know everything and they judge you for everything accordingly. So it made it like
I don't think
kind
people
of the
found
sweet
this super
moment.
Interesting because of the HR department.
You don't think it was that? What do you think it was?
I think it was, these two people are obviously not supposed to be here together. And this guy slithered to the ground at Coldplay.
Yeah, his reaction. His reaction is what touched it off.
It doesn't matter
looked at this.
if they do. It doesn't matter what they do for work. It matters that they were not supposed to be together.
He's running. He runs a concrete truck, and she's working the schedule at the concrete plant. That it would be the same thing.
I disagree with you. I think the fact that he was a CEO of an AI company, he was a big deal. I guess
it does help. I guess you're probably right.
I don't know if this is true or not, but people were posting about how I guess he was kind of hard to work for. There's always the disgruntled things. I don't even know if that's true or not. But the fact that she's head of HR, they're both married to popular or well-known people, I guess, within the community.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
She's married to a different CEO.
Yeah, all the CEOs of the world.
I guess the point is it probably all matters, right? It all matters. But without their reaction, it never
And here's another interesting part is that supposedly there was a statement that Andy puts out, right? This CEO that gets busted. Right. And people are just posting it everywhere. And it's a ridiculous statement, okay? Like it looks like it could be real. And we're not sharing it because from our research, it turns out it's fake. It's fake, right? So I wish the people that still are posting it thinking it's true, The guy did not release a statement, as far as we can find.
And he's gone from the company.
Yeah,
so
he's
one of the
resigned.
quick. We're running long here, so I want to get going a little quick.
No,
here.
show this.
No,
the
we
clip.
will. Yeah, we will. Okay, so basically, because baseball is the big sport going right now, the big stadium sport going right now, every baseball team has been doing the kiss cam and doing jokes about it. Take a look at the Philly Fanatic.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this thing's going to live in infamy.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's hilarious. And then,
oh gosh.
yeah, and then he gets back, he's still trying to hide.
Still trying to hide.
And then look at the people they show right after this. This is my wife.
This is my wife. They kiss. That's
there
funny.
It is. I mean, it's just killing them. So.
Oh, it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere now.
It is.
But
it's pretty funny.
I feel terrible, honestly, for the spouses that were cheated on and their families. That's a terrible way to find out.
It's a kick in the teeth. I mean,
and what an idiot! You go to an 80,000 person stadium with your secret mistress.
Well, it's just it's the arrogance of it.
Yeah,
and taking your family and kicking them in the face as well is not cool.
Not so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have time for comments, or are we going to move on?
Do some quick comments.
Do you want me to do emails, or do you want to skip emails?
No,
today?
get it. We got to read the first one at least.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Here we go.
Okay.
This person is a huge fan of yours, Mark.
Okay.
Yowza. Sigmund's a little salty today. It says, I usually do not like you, but this was a good show. Other than the first 10 minutes that you wasted people's time, in my opinion. I do not favor deporting all the illegals in New Mexico, but the cartels and criminals need to go, and ICE has to be allowed to do their job. I was very impressed by the housing analysis. Keller was a very good state auditor, but he's changed immediately when he was elected mayor. And then he goes on to say that he had wanted to meet with Mayor Keller, and Keller won't meet with him anymore. So, Sigmund, I'm sorry we wasted your time at the top of the 10 minutes. We appreciate your comments and you just at least tuning in for at least the last episode. I don't know if he's still here with us. Sigmund may not be coming back.
I really don't know what Sigmund's doing, but
Sigmund's
I do love the comment though. I usually don't like you.
I usually don't like you.
Which is fantastic.
It's very salty.
Thank you, Sigmund. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and then let's go on to Husky Girl. I put Husky Girl in here because she's got a husky in her name, so she gets in, right?
We like that.
Mark and Krysty, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude for the diligent work that you and your daughters, who are remarkable, contribute to the podcast. Furthermore, I wish to acknowledge your advocacy on behalf of law enforcement in Albuquerque. The new officers at the APD exhibit a genuine dedication to making a positive impact within our community. They face each workday with uncertainty of returning home safely, a reality that's often overlooked, with many taking life for granted. And amen to that. We do. We are big supporters of the APD. The men in blue, we definitely back them.
And women, yeah.
And women, for sure.
Yeah, they're great.
And then we just added Dan in here. Dan said, I'm sorry your family is going through dementia, as it can tear a family apart. So hang tight to each other and continue to pray. The information you presented is helpful, as is diet and exercise. Stay positive, and you will find laughter and smiles on the other side of this. I promise. Great show as always, and thank you so much, Dan. Yes,
that's really nice.
Yeah, the whole dementia thing, not easy. And I did share a little bit about my mother having that now. And my sister really is the one that's carrying the heavy load on that. So I pray a lot for Vicky because she needs it.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up with a couple fun, happy stories.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the Steve Miller Band, I'm not sure what's going on here.
Unbelievable. So Steve Miller Band, which you and I went to go see back in the day, and Fly Like an Eagle. Like if you grew up in the 70s, 80s, you know Steve Miller Band hits, Abracadabra, stuff like that. Now, Steve Miller is 80 years old, by the way, just so you know.
Huh.
So they canceled their tour. Okay, it's crazy. It says Steve Miller Band was scheduled to perform at the New York State Fair and 2 other concerts upstate in August. But on Wednesday, the classic rock group abruptly canceled their entire 2025 tour. I hope he's okay. I mean, I started thinking Steve got a health problem here. And they cited their reason as the weather. Despite the fact that their tour was happening across a wide range of days and have different weather conditions. The band made this announcement on social media. In their note, they wrote, "The Steve Miller Band has canceled all of our upcoming tour dates. The combination of extreme heat, unpredictable flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, and massive forest fires make these risks for you, our audience, the band, and the crew unacceptable." What are you talking about?
It is literally paranoia at its peak.
This is like, there's still a strain of COVID out there. How in the world are you going out to the grocery store in 2025? What are you talking about, Steve Miller? And this is a great one. One of the reactions was, "Love you, Steve, but this is rather strange." Another fan remarked, "Somehow all the other bands are managing. Maybe tour in the winter. Hold on a minute. Wait a second on the tour in the winter. We got snowstorms. We have ice storms. We have wind chill. We have all sorts of problems. Steve could be dead in minutes if he tours during the winter. This is outrageous. Get inside.
I think Steve Miller should just do a recording, stick it on YouTube, and call it a day. I mean, honestly.
Just honestly, stop with this. I mean, it's unreal.
The weather.
Oh, it's the weather's going to go. Yeah, okay.
That's
Here
just
we
paranoia.
go again.
That just sounds like paranoia.
Oh, no, it is. And it's you go and start, if you start to believe everything you hear that the weather's going to kill you, everything's going to kill you no matter what.
Right.
You're going to live a life you're never going to leave the front door. But I thought it was just crazy. So, by the way, in concert, at least 20, 30 years ago, they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were solid.
Great.
They were solid. From what I remember, we saw a lot of people that year. But
okay, all right. Good. Game cams, we got a problem right now. There's been an attack on one of the game cams, and I'm gonna let you guys see it first. We'll play it for you a couple of times, but our game cam below the house that we're building for this TV show is under attack, and we have somebody that we're going at. Abby, you need to bring the sound up on this and start it again. Here we go. Yeah. Try it again. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, that's a woodpecker. That is a woodpecker going after my camera.
You said that to me. I couldn't stop laughing.
I mean, look at this guy.
I mean, this guy he's on a mission.
He is going to, unbelievable.
And I know that you will use this as a big excuse to immediately drive up there to fix that game camera. Like, I know you'll be like, oh, I got to go check.
Oh, there's no question. I got damage on the front of the camera.
What Woody the Woodpecker has done to your camera.
This guy, clearly, we're going to have an issue.
He's a star. I love his close-up. I think he's done a good job.
Oh, no.
Okay, the next guy. Here's this guy that I never want to see, but you continue to show these.
Well, so we got this black bear that's been hanging around, and he's going for something up a tree. And I thought he was going to climb the tree.
Oh, that would have been cool.
But he didn't. He just kind of was like, no, I'm good. So he walks away. But then you look at the next video of him. Look at his fur. It looks great.
Yeah, it's all
He really
shiny.
does. Yeah, he looks really good. The next one is, he looks really good here.
Let's hope that you're like, in the next frame, it's not a guy coming down that tree.
Yep.
Like that he is.
Oh, I know.
Tree.
Yeah, I know. Guys, it finally crawls out of the trees like, thank God that bear didn't get me. Okay, so there we go. So finally we'll end with one of the things you want to see. One of the things we've been watching and is pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we love to share anytime we watch a show because people are always like, what are you watching? So I read about this new Billy Joel documentary coming out on Max or HBO Max, whichever one you have at home. It's called Billy Joel, and So It Goes. And whether or not you're a Billy Joel fan, I think it almost doesn't even matter because the story that they tell in this documentary about how he writes his songs, his start, I really had no idea how tenacious this guy was. I mean, he got kicked in the teeth for a decade, at least a decade before anything even happened to him, right? Yeah. And he just kept going for it. He came from a hard scrabble life, as you like to say, that he definitely had to pull himself up. It is so well done. It's a 2-part series, and it's the first one just came out last Friday, and it was 2 hours. Yeah. And so we split it into 2 nights. The next part, which is the last part, is I believe another 2-hour episode, and that comes out this Friday. I can't wait to watch it. I'm telling you, he's got health issues now. And so what I read is that he did this documentary as a way he had to cancel a tour. He obviously did all those shows at Madison Square Gardens for, I don't know how long his stint was there.
Years and years.
But he finally...
Boat named after his daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
He basically has stepped away from touring right now. And so to give his fans a little bit of insight, and it's so funny because I had no idea what a literal writer he was in his songs until, like, you listen to these songs all the time that you know all the words to, right? Yeah. And then you find out what he actually wrote that song about and how literal it was.
Oh, and like some songs you're trying to read into what they're saying. Not Billy.
No, Billy.
I mean, he's just like, what's the matter with the clothes I'm wearing? Can't you tell that your eyes? Like he goes through everything, and he's brilliant.
He is a great musician. So I just think it's interesting to hear, like, even the famous story. We won't wreck it for you, but how he wrote The Piano Man and why that became his anthem, basically.
And then how he got that job. Like he was the piano man. How did he get that job?
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It's fascinating. And just the fact that his first wife was his muse for all these famous songs that he thought these are too mushy, like She's Always a Woman to Me and some of the other ones that he writes. Yeah. She was his muse. And he was like, I would never release these songs. She was like, these are hits. You should put them out. And wow, the rest is history.
She fought for him in a massive way.
We
haven't even reached Krysty Brinkley yet either, which is going to take him to a whole new level.
Oh gosh, calm down. You and the models. You love models. I mean,
what?
Yeah.
No.
Heidi Klum, really? Krysty Brinkley, Heidi Klum. Oh, and Elle McPherson. Look, what's the ranking there? Do we?
It's a tough ranking. It's a tough ranking. All right, stop bringing up ridiculous things. All right, we are done. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry for Krysty's inappropriate comments there at the end. We'll try to be better next time, and we'll see you back here.
Hey, like and subscribe our YouTube channel. It's important to us. It helps us with our algorithm. So if you're listening on YouTube or if you're not listening on YouTube, just hit that like button and the subscribe button. It really, really, really does help us. Thanks, you guys. Have a great week, and we will see you back here on Thursday.
You've been listening to the No Doubt About It podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at No Doubt About It Podcast.
No doubt about it.